Hi Yogis, how are we? So we're going to do a bit of a beginner workout first. I've got a few props you'll see by the side of my mat. First one I've got for you there is a strap, and I've also got a couple of blocks. So they're not essential, but sometimes can help depending if you want to get a little bit of extra reach. Would be best if you had a sticky mat of some sort just to make it a bit easier. Cool, let's get started. So to start today's yoga, we're going to be on our hands and knees. We're going to make sure our hips are over our knees, shoulders over our hands, and we're going to be using our inhale and exhale to move our spine. So as we inhale, we're going to drop the belly down, lift the tailbone, lift the head, and as we exhale, we're going to tuck our stomach under, tuck the tailbone under, and bring the head to the chin. And we're just going to continue inhaling and exhaling in our own time. Your inhale and exhale might be faster or it might be slower. We're just moving our spine, warming up gently. And we're going to try and make this movement your own. You might like to try a wave motion like I'm trying, or you might like to continue what you've been doing. Using the exhale to move down, the inhale to move up. You might try side to side, moving the spine all different directions. And we're going to prepare to move into our first downward dog by tucking the toes under. We're going to lift the hips up, and you'll notice I'm still high on my toes. And I'm doing this very slowly so I can warm into the hamstrings, warm into the calves. I'm using a pedaling motion with my feet moving up and down. I'm not pushing too far forward with my chest. I'm just focusing on my hamstrings. And you'll see we move now into our downward dog. Our chest moves towards our legs, our shoulders move up and down until we find a position where our shoulders are not quite next to our ears. And then hold this position with a bit of stillness. Breathing in and out deeply into the belly. And moving forward, we're going to walk our feet towards our hands. We're going to come into our forward fold. If you can't touch the ground, you could put a block under your hands. We're going to have a generous bend in the knees. We're not going to overstretch the hamstrings. You might like to hold onto your elbows. Give yourself a bit of a wiggle till you find a comfortable spot. Let the head hang loose. No tension in the neck. We're just going to hold there, breathing in and breathing out. If you're advanced, you might like to hold onto the toes or put the arms behind your legs, If you find this tight, you could wiggle the legs up and down a little bit. Just warming up and loosening. And as we inhale, we're going to lift up, bringing the torso up, bringing the hands to the sky, and then as we exhale, bringing our hands into our heart position, getting ready for our main program. So inhaling up again, looking up towards the hands, exhaling, coming into that forward fold, tucking the chin in, inhaling, straightening the back, exhaling, bringing the chin back down. And as we exhale again, we're going to move our right leg backwards into a low lunge. Drop the knee down, untuck the toes, and inhaling the arms up towards the air, towards the sky, looking up if your neck is comfortable. Exhale, bringing the hands back down, tuck the toes, coming back into that low lunge. We're going to bring our left foot to meet the right and move forward into a gentle plank. Inhaling, exhaling, dropping the knees down. We're going to lower ourselves to the ground on the exhale, very slowly, taking your time. And inhaling, looking up into a mini cobra, exhale, head comes down. Inhaling, we're going to pull back towards child pose position, taking an exhale, and on the next inhale, we're going to be moving upwards into our downward dog. So very gently tucking the toes, lifting the hips up, drawing the chest towards the knees, relaxing here, taking a breath. And inhaling, bringing that right foot up to your hands, coming back into that low lunge, taking a pause. Inhaling, dropping the left knee down, bringing the arms up to the sky. breathing and exhaling the hands back down, tucking the toe, and then bringing that left leg up to meet the right, back into our forward fold. Inhaling up, hands to the sky, looking up if comfortable, exhaling hands to heart. And we're going to inhale our hands back up to the sky, exhale, forward fold, bringing the head into the knees, inhale, flat back, head comes back up, exhale, back to the knees, and taking that right leg back again. Pausing there in our low lunge. Inhaling, bringing the hands up to the sky, looking up, exhaling, bringing them back down, tucking those right toes, straightening the right leg. Inhaling, we're going to lift the left hand up to the sky in a little bit of a twist. Breathing there. If you're familiar with binding, you can bring the left hand back behind you. If not, leaving that up towards the sky, looking up if it's comfortable. Exhale that left hand back down to the ground. Bring the knee down, and then taking the left leg back to meet the right and coming into your child's pose. Inhaling, coming back up, and we're moving into a downward dog, transitioning through our downward dog. And then inhaling, bringing that left foot up to the front between our hands, pausing there for a moment, coming back to our forward fold, bringing the right to the left, inhaling the arms up, exhaling, coming back down to that forward hold, inhaling the head up, exhaling the head back down, this time taking our left leg back, dropping the left knee, untucking the toes, inhaling, arms coming up to the sky, into our crescent moon, exhaling back down, tucking the toes back under, inhaling that right hand up this time, coming into that nice twist. If you can do the bind, you're welcome to. If not, leaving that right arm up in the sky, looking up to the hands, exhaling the hand back down. Bringing that right knee down, coming into our child's pose and just breathing freely here. And we're going to walk our hands over to the right side, bringing that nice stretch into the left side of the body. And then walking the hands now over to the left. Again, breathing freely into that right side of the body, hoping to open it up. Bringing the hands back to center. We're going to inhale and lift our body back to our tabletop, tuck our toes, and coming back into that downward dog. Bring the chest towards the knees, keeping the head loose and free. Lifting the right leg up, bending the knee, and then bringing that right knee in towards the right elbow and lifting the leg again. Bringing it towards the left elbow and then lifting that leg again, and then back down to downward dog. And we'll do the same thing in a moment on the left side. So lifting with the inhale, exhale, bringing the knee towards the left elbow, inhaling back up, exhaling back to the right. And one more inhale up, and then bringing that left leg back down to the mat, back to our downward dog. Walk our feet towards our hands, coming back to our forward fold, keeping a generous bend in the knee. We're just going to hang, just relax here, have a moment, pause, bringing the hands back up to the sky and coming into our chair position, tucking the tailbone, lifting the arms so that they're in line with the ears, looking up towards the hands, inhaling and coming back to a standing position. Inhaling the arms up to the sky, exhaling forward fold, inhaling straight back, head up, exhaling back to the forward fold, right leg comes back. We're going to bring our right foot onto a 45-degree angle, and we're going to inhale our arms upwards into our warrior, looking along towards the left hand, keeping our gaze on the middle finger, bending into the warrior as much or as little as we're able, holding the stillness, inhaling, lifting the knee, exhaling, leaning forward, and bringing the hand down now to our triangle. And this position you can use a block to hold to help you with the balance and the reach. And just hold in that position, exhaling that right arm back down, coming into our warrior, and then shifting our feet around so that they're facing forward. We're going to put our hands onto our hips and we're going to gently fold forward with our exhale, placing the hands on the ground or on a block. Or just hanging freely if we're able. So breathing freely here. Opening up into the back, opening up into the hips. Putting the hands back onto the ground or on top of our block, whichever is more comfortable for you. We're going to inhale as we lift our right hand towards the sky, looking up towards the thumb on our right hand. Breathing freely. And using the exhale to return the right hand down, inhaling the left arm up this time. Again, looking towards the thumb on that hand. Inhaling, exhaling. And then using your next exhale, lowering the left hand back to the ground, placing them on the hips, flattening the back and inhaling the body up. And we're just going to turn now so that our warrior can be done on the other side. So rotating the feet around, inhaling the arms up and then lowering into our warrior. The right foot should now be at a 45-degree angle, our left foot should be straight across, and our hip bones are coming towards the side of our body rather than facing forward. And again, gaze towards the middle finger on that right arm. Inhaling, straightening that leg, exhaling, leaning forward, and we're going to come into our triangle again. And again, you can use a block if you wish, or you can have your hand just resting in front of that right leg. If your neck is sore, you can put your head looking down rather than looking up. Inhaling, exhaling. And using our inhale, we're going to lift the body back up. We're going to let the arms come forward, bring them to our hips, rotating the feet. We're going to come back into that middle stance, but this time we're going to have our toes pointing out towards the corners of our mat. Bring our hands into Chin Mudra and we're going to drop into our goddess pose, because everybody feels like a goddess in this pose. Breathe freely. And inhaling to lift the body. We're going to widen our stance just a little bit. As we exhale, we're going to come down. You may like to use a block if you need. And we're going to stretch into the inner groin. And inhale, we're going to switch over to the other side. And we're going to rotate so that we end up back into a little bit of a low lunge to come to our forward fold. And we're just going to hang freely just for a moment. And then working our way down into a toe squat. Bringing the hands to heart center into a prayer position, straightening the back. And just balancing there, breathing freely, closing down the eyes if it's possible. If not, keeping them open so that we can keep our balance. Bringing the hands back to the ground in front of us, bringing the feet back and coming into our plank position. Trying not to let the hips dip down. If it's too much, bring the knees to the ground to make this position a bit easier. And then just holding there for a few breaths. Tucking in the tummy, pulling the core in, holding the pelvic floor tight. And now just coming back into your tabletop position, we're going to do our tiger. So we're going to use our inhale to lift the left hand and the right foot, and exhale to tuck them in towards each other, inhaling them back up, exhaling them back to the tabletop. Inhale the right arm, left foot, exhale in together, inhale up, and then exhale back to our tabletop. Doing the same thing on each side again. Inhale to go up, exhale to compress. And as we compress, we want to really tighten in our core muscles, pulling in our pelvic floor as well. And then just coming to a moment's rest. We're going to come now into our gate pose. So we're staying in our tabletop position, but we're going to extend out our leg to the side. So I've extended my right leg, and we're going to use our cat and cow movement, but to increase the stretch in our leg. So inhale to lift the head, tuck the tailbone under, and exhale, bringing the chin to the chest. Same motion as we did earlier, in your own time. And we're going to ease back now, and we're going to sit on the heel, stretch forward, kind of a modified child's pose, with our leg extended out, just breathing freely. Using the next inhale to lift yourself up, we're going to walk the hands up the body, bring them to our hips, inhaling them up the sides, exhale, coming over into a side stretch. Taking a breath there, and the next inhale we're going to use to bring ourselves back into that open position, and exhaling over to the other side. Breathing freely again. Imagining you're between two panes of glass, keeping our body in line between those. Inhaling back up, we're going to bring that knee in, and we're going to take out the other foot, do the exact same thing on the other side. So starting off with our cat-cow stretch, inhaling to bring the head and the tailbone up, exhale to tuck the chin under, tuck the tailbone, remembering to pull into the core at the same time as you exhale. Using your next exhale to lower yourself down onto your heel, doing a nice altered child pose stretch. And using the next inhale, we'll slowly bring ourselves up, walk our hands up, and coming back into our gate pose, inhaling the arms outwards, exhaling over to our side. Breathing freely. Using the next inhale to move over, and exhaling down to the other side, stretching the other side of the body. Inhaling the arms back up to our T shape, exhaling them down, bringing the knee in, and just coming into our coming into a lying down position, rolling the body down, and we're going to be working on our bridge pose. So we're going to be working on the pelvic floor and the core muscles first. So as we inhale, we're going to relax the muscles, and when we exhale, we're going to start with tightening the pelvic floor, and then imagining we're zipping up our jeans and tightening the core muscles and rolling the pelvis towards us as we exhale, inhaling outwards. And on the next inhale, we're going to lift up into the bridge completely. Some of you may wish to put your arms under to get a bit of extra height. Some of you might feel comfortable enough putting your hands under, or just leaving them underneath, lying flat. Rolling down with an exhale, then bring the knees to the chest, tucking them in. You might like to roll from side to side, rolling the knees around, just loosening off into the back. I've done quite a lot of work on the lower back today, quite a lot of work on our twisting and spines, so just relaxing them now. Coming into our final poses, so we're starting with a twist over to the right side, so exhaling the knees over to the right, head comes towards the left, and just relaxing here completely, letting go of the tension in the body and allowing the spine just to release and relax. Inhaling to the deeply into the body, into the belly, exhaling freely. And on the next inhale, rolling the knees over and exhaling them down to the other side. Head turns too. And again, breathing freely. Bringing the head back to center and the legs, tucking the knees in again if you wish. And If you want to block, you might like to. We're going to do some inversion work. So first option is just to have the feet straight up in the air. The second option, which is quite nice, is just to pop the block under your hips just to add a bit of ease to this movement. If you are familiar with a shoulder stand, you're most welcome to come into a full shoulder stand, although you must be careful not to move the head at all once you move into this position, as we don't want to hurt our neck. If you have not done the shoulder stand before, please stick with one of the first two positions and only do the shoulder stand if you are very comfortable and can do these safely. Just breathing freely here. This stimulates the throat chakra, the endocrine system. It's fantastic for your heart. And to lower down, just bring the knees in towards the head and very gently lowering the legs, lowering the hips. And you'll notice I'm putting my hands directly under my pelvis, under my sacrum. We're going to use our next inhale. We're going to lift the upper body, tuck the elbows under, and we're going to hang freely so that our head is not quite touching the mat, just counterposing that strong shoulder stand. Keep the feet nice and loose and relaxed, no tension, no flexing of the toes. Breathing deeply into the chest, really opening across the front of the chest. And just rolling back down to coming out and allowing our body to now come into its final rest. So you might like to squeeze different parts of your body to release the tension, or you can squeeze the entire body to release tension, or you might like to work your way through your body, releasing tension bit by bit. So letting our body sink into the mat, completely, wholly giving ourselves over to rest. Start bringing a little bit of awareness back into our body, very gently feeling the sensation of the wind, the air on our skin. Maybe taking the opportunity to wiggle our toes a little bit, maybe wiggle our fingers, very gently deepening the breath, keeping the eyes closed. Very slowly we might make those movements a bit bigger. Start bringing our legs up, moving over onto our side, pillowing the head, and then again slowly moving our way up into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed as we adjust back to movement, coming into a nice seated position. And once we're settled, we're going to bring our hands onto our knees, make a chin mudra, and we're just going to take a moment to breathe deeply, think of something that makes us truly happy. And then we'll take the opportunity to sing one Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So inhaling to prepare, exhaling, inhaling. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bringing the hands to our forehead to remember to think about things with kindness and compassion, to our mouth to remind us to only speak with kindness and compassion, and to our hearts to remember to see the world through a veil of kindness and compassion. Namaste.